live.
Amazing. Hi, I'm Marty DeBerge. Welcome to a very special episode of Twitch. I don't know what I'm doing. But we are here talking about the 10th anniversary of the Hamilton album. And I'm here with many of the architects of that album. Please, folks, introduce yourselves.
Hi, Alex Lacamoire. You can call me Lac.
I'm Derik Lee. You can call me Derek.
And I'm Tim Latham. You can just call me Tim.
Tim missed the memo about no jackets. And
Again.
Why don't you guys talk a little bit about what you guys did on the album, your jobs and responsibilities on the album?
Hit it, Lack.
Yeah, man. So I am the original music director for Hamilton on Broadway. And for the cast album, I was the producer, along with my buddy Bill Sherman, who's out there somewhere, couldn't be with us today. But he's a very, very integral part of this. And we also had some great producers in Lin-Manuel, in Ahmir, Thompson, in Derik, Black Thought, the guys from The Roots. And basically, the job was to figure out how to get this Broadway show recorded, tracked, mixed, and mastered in about 5 weeks, while the show was still running on Broadway, about a week after we opened. It was
Less than a week.
46 tracks that we had to get through in a very short amount of time. And we can talk more later about like what that entails, but there was a lot of challenges because there's only so many hours in a day. I had to conduct the show every now and again. The cast members had to be in the show every now and again. So it was quite a big undertaking, but with these geniuses, we were able to make it all happen in record time. So yeah, that was my gig.
And I was the recording engineer for this whole, or architect. And that's pretty much helping these guys put it all together.
And then I was the mix engineer on the project, so my job was to piece everything together and make it sound as good as I possibly could, with a lot of help.
You may not know that Broadway cast albums work differently than other cast albums. Hold on a second. Hey, chat, what's up? These are some Twitch best practices I've been told to do. To talk to you as a singular chat. Hello, chat. What do you have? Oh, just goat things, says Sockstar. Hi, Sockstar. Dream Team. Was this filmed previously or is it live? Oh, Rosa, I assure you we're very live.
Very live.
We're so live that our host, Riggs Morales, isn't even here yet. He's stuck on the subway during UN week in New York City. So this is called for people who are not normally on camera. Ad-libbing. But back to Broadway cast albums. There's lots of really strict rules about Broadway cast albums. Alex, list some of the challenges.
Whew. All right. So first of all, the economics of it presents its challenges because for every day in the studio, well, actually the rules are different now, but back then, 10 years ago, for every day in the studio that a Broadway actor is in the studio, you have to pay them a full week's worth of salary. So you don't want them in the studio for more than one day, ever. So it was just a challenge to figure out how to record all the vocals at one time. And the first big aha moment that I had is that I knew that there was this union stipulation that said if the record is, in our case, 2.5 hours worth of music, then we automatically have to do 12 sessions, or 10 sessions of recording. And then that's a very hard thing to do in one day. So I said to the producers at Atlantic, I'm like, well, listen, can I spread it out over several days? And like, yeah, you can spread it out as many days as you want. So no matter what, I knew that we had to like spread out the band recordings. So that gave me the idea to do just the rhythm section over 3 days. I recorded just the string section over 2 days. And then one day we recorded just the male principals on a Sunday probably, I think, no, on a Monday. And then the Tuesday, the following day, we recorded just the female principals, Pippa, Jasmine, and Renee. Wednesday, between shows, we recorded Jonathan Groff. Thursday, before the evening show, we recorded the female ensemble. And Friday, before the evening show, we recorded the male ensemble. So everything was done in piecemeal. It was like filling in a crossword puzzle. But what worked out is that everybody was just in the studio for one day, which was the big ask. So that was the big challenge, to figure out how to do it and also just grab everything we needed. What was beautiful is that I knew this record was going to be listened to a lot, and I knew I wanted to make it as perfect as possible, but we only had so much time.
Yeah.
So it was all like, all right, 2 takes for the song, 3 max, we're go, 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 go. And even when we were editing, I remember sitting with you, and you would just play me one take, and I would be like, okay, I like that bar, I like that bar, I like that bar. You'd play me another take. I'd be like, I like this bar, I like that bar, I like that bar. And basically you checkerboard and you create a take, but it was very kind of like first blush thoughts. We didn't have a lot of time to really obsess too much because we just had to get it done.
Yeah. Isn't there didn't the play have to open first before you can record a note of music? Is that correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I know we wanted to.
Okay.
There are shows that record their cast albums prior to opening.
Okay.
The challenge there is that the show winds up changing so much.
Yeah,
Over the course of a week.
I didn't want that.
No.
Like, I
Fair
want
enough.
previews to actually be previews,
Yep.
to learn things about what the audience
Yep.
is telling us, to go, okay, we're going to drop this here, we're going to... And we made a lot of changes during previews. Like, we learned a lot.
I mean, how soon up to opening did you make changes?
I think...
Oh, something came up while we were tracking. You like put that in the show tonight.
Oh, we probably did.
Yeah.
But that
did?
was on the slide.
Yeah.
In terms of like, it's probably
last
like
part?
a change that we found like in
Oh,
the,
it was
in
something.
the
I think it was
viola
like
part or
Richard.
something.
Richard did something.
But
Like, put that in the show tonight. Make sure you do it.
We opened August 6th on Broadway.
Yeah.
It was a
We
Thursday.
probably froze the show August 1st or 2nd, probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
right.
that's when we put our pencils down.
Yeah.
Probably played through the weekend.
Yeah, and you want to freeze the show because you want the actors to be able to get the show under their belts finally and not sort of be waiting for last minute changes. At the same time, you want what goes out into the world to be, you know, the best reflection of what you guys are doing in the Richard Rodgers Theater. And you know, for me, there's two landmarks of this. There was like opening night off Broadway when it was finally out of our heads and in the world and on the stage, and then there was like when we first streamed Hamilton, and we're joined by Riggs Morale, A&R extraordinaire, and got stuck in UN week traffic. So I want to talk a bit about that moment, about like the moment we, you know, because the album came out on a Friday, but we streamed it on
PBS.
Was it PBS or like
NPR?
NPR. We
NPR.
streamed it on NPR, and I remember watching it go all over the world in real time, and people like. This is back in the days of good Twitter, like tweeting their live reactions, like as they were hearing it wherever they were in the world. And because the score is an almost complete transcription of the show, you get the show when you get the album. And so it was amazing to sort of finally kind of let it out of the 300 people at a time, 1,200 people at a time meal we were serving, and suddenly we're like serving it all over the world.
Because you have to understand that we opened off Broadway in January of 2015. So between January and September, when the album came out, there was a slew of people all over New York City who had been in the room to watch the show and had heard the show and had no way of being able to relive those songs at home, outside of the theater. So there was this whole period where I know people were just clamoring for us to get the record finished because they wanted to be able to listen to it and enjoy it, particularly for a show as dense as this, where it's hard to take it all in one sitting. So that's actually something I'd love to hear more from you about, how, you know, one of the challenges on Broadway shows is that you want everything to land on the listener at the same time, but you almost intentionally set out to make something that could be uncovered and listened to multiple times to be able to get deeper and richer and find things on listen 20 that you hadn't found the first time.
Yeah, I was, I psyched myself out, chat. You know, I think within the Heights, the hip hop was still such a new sound to introduce to Broadway. I was very intentional about like, everyone's gonna get everything the first time. I want everyone to feel at home in this theater, even though we're presenting Washington Heights. And with Hamilton, I just was delulu. I just lied to myself and said, this is going to be an album first.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to worry about everyone getting every double entendre, because my favorite hip hop albums, I'm still getting stuff from years and decades later. So I wanted it to be that lyrically dense. I wanted you to get something on the 10th time. And so I really just packed it. Like I just packed the lyrics with as many allusions and double entendres and meanings as possible, and just trusted the audience. If they didn't get it the first time, they'll get it and I think it unintentionally kind of created really a lot of repeat customers and a lot of repeat listeners who are still finding things. I'm still seeing things in the show all these years. I went to go see Leslie in the show on Friday night, and I never noticed that Eliza witnesses Hamilton and Burr meeting for the first time like
Wait, what?
from the wings,
No.
from the upper deck, and I was just like, Blanket Bueller! We say
He's
that
so
a lot,
good.
and we're always shaking our fists when we do it. All right, chat, what's going on here? I'm just checking in with my singular friend chat.
Chat away.
Baby Shumio 5 says, honestly, that's what brings us back to Hamilton. Well, thanks, pal. Somebody, all caps, is asking me, Lynn, do you know what a labubu is? Yes, but I'm too old to invest. I'm still waiting for my my Beanie Babies to appreciate. Riggs, I want you to talk about bringing Hamilton to Atlantic Records, because Atlantic did not have a history of cast albums prior to Hamilton. You were like a crazy prophet, screaming, this thing is going to be huge. Why doesn't anybody listen to me? And I want you to tell a little bit of that story to our new friend, Chat.
Hey, chat. I'm Riggs Morales. I'm late, and I'm sweating, and I stink. I didn't realize it was UN activities taking place here, but it is also drenching, and it is just horrendous. It's those beautiful things that make this city so wonderful. So thank you, everyone, for your patience. Man, first of all, this is fantastic, because this is such a full circle moment in ways that we'll get into later on. But the start of this was, I was, I guess, the quote-unquote hip-hop guy within the Atlantic A&R ranks, right? And my good friend and former superior, Pete Gambar, it's like, Riggs, we need you in for this meeting. It's like, what is it? It's Lin-Manuel. You know Lin-Manuel? I was like, yeah, he's from the old neighborhood. So we've never met, but we've known about each other's works. My years of working with Eminem, some of the folks have influenced him, and of course he's the only human being that's done a musical about the neighborhood in the Heights. So you just don't know what to expect. And quite honestly, as an A&R, I like to lean a little bit on the left side, a little unconventional, as long as it doesn't go over people's heads. So in comes Lin, and he starts pitching us on the Hamilton mixtape.
Right.
Ah.
It's like, so who's Hamilton? You know, I might have cut class that day. Like, you know, I know who he is, but
I initially thought you were talking about George Hamilton. I'm like, why on earth would you write a play
I was
about
like,
George
you know,
Hamilton? What
So it was like, okay, cool. I'm open. I'm listening. I'm like, can we hear the music? He sends a few demos over, and you really don't get that. You hear the potential of it. You hear how he's really like dipping and diving from a lyrical standpoint in a way that I quite honestly did not expect from the Broadway folks,
For sure.
right? So he's like, why don't you come see the show? It's like, sure, but this was a dress rehearsal. It wasn't up. It wasn't at the public just yet.
Wait, was it?
I don't think so. Everybody was in
reading,
the room, and it was
A
just
reading,
like,
probably, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it was a reading. It was certainly a reading. And I'm going in there with expectations like, all right, cool. I'm expecting, you know, jazz hands.
No, please, can we see more of Riggs' impression of Broadway?
Yes. This is what I was expecting. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see. So I sit back, I look at the audience, I look at the crowd, I'm like, okay, cool. It's a really awesome mix of people. I can't even sit here and say they're Broadway looking folks. They were just a group of good people. It could have been a Benetton ad for any of you that remember what a Benetton ad looks like. And within the first few bars, the first song, dun, 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 how does the bastard, ooh, curses. Like, there's a curse in this. And the way the lyrics and the music started unraveling, for me, just wasn't Broadway, at least what I've been accustomed to Broadway. Again, I might be a novice, but I know the Wickeds, the Lion Kings, and the pretty popular ones. I just got reintroduced to Phantom of the Opera via our boy here. And
I took Riggs to Masquerade, y'all. We chased that Phantom up and down Lee's old art shop. It was amazing.
It was amazing. It was quite amazing. Another level. So I'm listening to this, and I'm just like, wait, this is bars. This is like hip hop, like this is bars, this is flow, and I'm just like, I start looking around like, are y'all hearing this shit? Like, am I the only one losing my shit? Sorry, I'm not sure if we're allowed to curse, chat, but
Chat, we're old
late.
friends at this point.
okay, cool. So I'm like, this is fantastic, and as it continues on, Satisfied, this song, My Shot, and it just comes to unravel like, I cannot believe this is happening. There's no fucking way that this is happening in front of me in real time, because expectations when it comes to Broadway from the hip hop constituent is very like, we've never really gotten along too well. We've tried to do some things, we tried to date, but it wasn't really, you know, our thing. It didn't mesh. Here comes this thing, and you just hear all the influence influences. I'm like, is that Biggie?
Yeah.
Wait, is that Pun? Is that M? Is that? And it was just like, holy shit, I need to leave, but I can't because it's still going on. I need to leave and get back to Atlantic and let these folks know that we have to do this deal. All right? We have to do this. We have to figure this out. I leave. I don't know if there was a second act because I left during the first act. Ran down the street.
He just found out Hamilton dies, y'all. Like, he didn't know how it ended.
Run back and look like this, like profusely, disgusting, sweating. And I'm like, we have to do this. We have to figure this out. We have to, the play, the musical, we'll get into the play versus musical term in a second, but we have to do this. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And no matter how much enthusiasm this professional A&R / talent scout / whatever you want to call it is coming in with, there's this slight hesitancy, like, because cast albums, quite honestly, don't sell. They're not considered good business, right?
It's hard.
And at the time, I was just about to have a child, and this is where music education Riggs was just like, best case scenario, we sell a couple of albums, right? Great. We make our money back, whatever you want to call it. Worst case scenario, at least 1 or 2 kids, such as the chat out there, will listen to this and get introduced to musicals, rap, R&B, and all these things, because it is, to me, it's just audio art. It was just beautiful. Yeah, there was some folks performing, but what was coming
Can I
out,
see some more Broadway Riggs, please?
okay, there was folks performing, but this was
What the fuck Broadway shows did you see before Hamilton?
don't let me get up. I can get up. Cats. I saw cats. I was like, so, so I'm like, we need to do this. And man, the conversations between the biz folks and the creative folks was tense because it was just like, no, this doesn't make any sense. We are not paying this much money, even if it was $2.
Wow.
We are not paying this much money for this particular deal. And it was just like, all right, well, you guys talk about it amongst yourselves and we'll figure it out. And
But I think that, I'm sure that got easier after the off-Broadway run, because after the off-Broadway
oh, we'll get into listen.
was such a crazy, I mean, what happened off-Broadway, we had our first preview of Hamilton, came in at 3 hours and 12 minutes. We had a couple of those songs that the internet still yells at me, why didn't you include it? But the thing happened that never happens with Broadway shows, which is that everyone, or happens once every 20 years, which is everyone who left told everyone they knew about the show. So a month in, you know, it's just crazy lines for cancellation tickets. It's weird getting into the building. It was a sensation. It was like an out-and-out sensation. That's before we recorded the album.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we're dragging our feet, trying to get this done before. This all took place, by the way, before it hit the public. I was the only one that was privy to this thing that everyone is about to see.
Interesting.
What happens? Start making the rounds. It hits the preview. It hits the public. Now everyone, it's pretty evident once you see it. We need in on this. So now we have to compete with others. Who are the others? You had, story labels like Nonsuch, small little labels that historically have put out cast albums, right?
Yep.
You have the folks at Columbia, which had Salam Remy, who is not only one of the more renowned rap producers in history, but it was on Lin's wish list,
For sure.
one of the 3.
Yep.
He's running A&R at Columbia. Who else? Warner. Who's at Warner? Mike Elizondo, who was number 2 on Lin's wish list of folks to collaborate with for this mixtape. And it's just like, all right, you guys are killing me here. And fortunately, man, the suggestion was made to connect. Number 1 on the list was Questlove of the Roots, who we'll be hearing from shortly.
Yep.
And even with that, it became, but wait a minute, the Roots, that's more money. It's like, oh man, here we go. And it just started getting to that place where right before I was leaving to my baby moon, I get pulled out of a meeting and said, Riggs, we're about to lose this Hamilton deal. And I was just like, how? I just spoke to Lin. We made the best pitch. Like, what are we doing here? And this is where sometimes money, and granted, it's a business. I completely understand that. But money's not everything in this particular case. So do we have access to the Pro Tools? Yeah. Who's the clicker? Who's able to do the... Can you,
We got 2. Good.
can you start at Alexander Hamilton real quick?
Who are you?
Sorry, I'm just fucking around with the space bar.
Just keep going. Uh-oh. Now you've done it.
Oh God.
I don't know
Alright.
any button that works on this thing.
Yeah, sure. So again, please forgive me for the repeat offense, but I have to walk you in real time as to what was the experience like. So please start from the beginning.
How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by providence, impoverished and squalor, grow up to be a
the only
hero
one
and
doing
a
this.
scholar? Without a father, got a lot farther by working
I'm looking
a lot
around,
harder,
like,
by being a lot smarter, by being
I can't
a
talk to anyone
self-starter,
because
by
no one is there
14.
with me. I'm
They
just like,
placed him in charge of a trading charter.
And every day while slaves
Who's this?
were being slaughtered and guarded across the waves, he
Diggs.
struggled and kept his guard
And
up.
it's just like,
Inside, he was longing for something
this was
to
not
be
what
a
I
part of.
expected.
The brother was ready
so
to
again,
beg, steal,
all
borrow,
of this
or
is soaking
barter.
in. It's hard to concentrate. All I know is that I need to get out of my seat. I need to leave here and try to get this thing done. This was, I want to say, 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks before anybody was privy to it. So I'm already privy, you know, like I got the hack, so to speak, as the kids say.
Education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name.
Like, these are all-
What's your name, man?
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
I did not know we'd be getting Riggs interpretive dance.
Things I haven't done.
On
here for
Twitch.
it.
Yeah.
Just you
I hope you're
wait.
loving this chat.
Just you wait.
Now, pause. From a visual standpoint, all I'm seeing is people of color selling this to me. Again, Broadway, my expectations are a bit, they're just, not at a place where they need to be. And I'm just seeing all of this unfold, and it's just an amalgam of just creativity and performance and lyrics, and it was just fast. I'm not about to lose this. No fucking way am I gonna lose it. I'm not. There's just no way.
Yeah, man.
No way. Eventually we get to a place where, by the way, I'm sorry, forgot to mention this part. Lin wanted to put out the mixtape before the cast album.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So now let me get this straight. I had to convince everyone that's on Lin's wish list for the mixtape, Busta, Action Bronson, The Roots, everyone that inspired this musical to come and check out the musical.
Right.
I just told you we don't get along all that well between these spaces.
Hard sell.
So cool, let's give it a try. And man, the next couple of weeks was a bunch of, listen to me. I know this is gonna sound weird, but I need you. I cashed in on every single, trust me, I need this favor that I could muster to get folks to come check it out. Why? Because I knew once they sat down, I don't really have to say and do anything. It's going to sell itself because this is the most phenomenal thing anyone in my genre has ever seen or experienced. Cool. Keep going, sending folks over. Some people cancel, some people don't. Now, mind you, these tickets are already like through the roof. Fun story. I invited a friend of mine, my dear friend, Thompson. He of Vibe magazine and renowned music journalist on the hip hop side, who happens to be sitting next to Alan Alda. He of MASH fame.
He has MASH fame.
That's
not a
just
sentence I was expecting today.
Wait a second.
this was the kind of audience that was there. It was like
He's the first person in the
Tarantino.
world to put those
two together, yeah.
words
So
together.
That's just this whole thing in general. The juxtaposition of this whole thing is just, there's a ton of them. You also have Tarantino sitting next to Chance the Rapper. You have like all these things. So Alan Alda's like, wow, this is kind of cool, this 10 commandments thing, like this 10 dual commandments thing. So Daytwan's like sitting next to Alan Alda, and Daytwan says, that's based on a Biggie record. Biggie, who's Biggie? And they gets into this whole history of, again, the influence of this song.
Alda.
It's Biggie, it's Alexander Hamilton, it's MASH, it's like all these things, and they've been friends ever since. This was like 10 years ago. That's just the kind of audience, and again, like
My favorite one of those, because he's right. Every Hamilton audience, especially in that first year and especially off Broadway, was a Mad Libs of like the internet. And I remember the night Busta came and he was in the front row.
Yeah.
And I remember just being so nervous because it's Busta. And I was like, don't look at Busta, don't look at Busta. And so I look up and a row above Busta was Mandy Patinkin, who is the Busta Rhymes of Broadway.
He of Princess Bride.
He of Princess Bride and Yentl. And so I was like, okay, don't look at Mandy Patinkin. Don't look at Mandy Patinkin. Look over here, Salman Rushdie. That's all one night at Hamilton. So every night was like that, where it just, the word got out, and it was really crazy. All right, wait, hold on. We gotta check in with chat, man.
Go
because
for it.
It's
Sorry, chat.
wonderful
You got it,
putting you in front of a crowd.
No.
And you still got all that subway energy.
I do. I do.
Showtime!
There it is.
But I'm gonna chat. Do you have questions for me? Are you getting one of the vinyls, Lynn? Yeah, I'm getting one of the vinyls. So we released the we're releasing a 10 Shots album, which is just like, it's sort of a greatest hits album because we really wanted to do stuff at different price points. Like 46 songs costs a certain amount, and then here's like the cheaper option, but there's lots of crazy different colors. I think I'm getting the Angelica album, Chad. Have I tried Dubai chocolate? I have not, but you asked a lot of times, so I really felt obliged to answer. Chat. Hello, Lynn. I am Tylee. Could you sing a little bit for us? Oh, now it's moving really fast, chat. I didn't even get to finish the question. Let's see. What was the most complicated song to make? Can I ask the like design, mixing? What was the most? Because that's a question that has different answers depending on what stage of the song. You know, there's the longest it took to write, and then there's also the longest it took to like mix.
The last 40 seconds of my shot.
The last 40 seconds of my shot.
Yeah.
Excruciating. Because it was so good and so dense to get every note, every syllable from everybody in that section heard.
Right.
That was,
But it was also one of the first ones you did.
yeah.
So you
that's true.
probably didn't really have a template quite yet. So
Not
you're still
quite yet.
kind of finding your way, I think.
I would have thought nonstop would be harder than.
I was gonna say that just for like the crossword puzzle of it all.
I mean,
like,
I've seen
Well,
chat
yes.
trying to sing all the parts at once. Sorry, chat, but I've seen you with the mirrors. History has its why do you assume?
That was, yeah, probably that was definitely harder.
Yeah.
That was definitely harder.
Nonstop.
Nonstop, yeah.
Nonstop.
And just because
nonstop.
it's like an escalator ride from the first note to the end, so you have to start kind of quiet, and it was to leave enough room to build to that last moment. So
Yeah.
it's like a 6.5 minute escalator ride, and to get to those last like 30 or 40 seconds, of it was just.
Derek, same question.
I was gonna say nonstop.
Yeah.
For that, for the like the crossword of it all, of trying to like make sure that we have everybody recorded, making sure everybody's there, and getting the best performance with only having that small amount of time.
Lacamoire, rewind to the arranging of this
There we go.
of these songs. What was the hardest song to arrange?
Schuyler Sisters. I often talk about that one. Wow. Schuyler Sisters was actually very different off Broadway. Do you remember how different it
Yeah,
was?
it sounded like Get Lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
We were like kind of going for a Daft Punk Get Lucky vibe.
Because the original demo, the drum beat was just a little kind of like, it laid back a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember that like the arrangement was like good. I remember like we enjoyed it. But Tommy Kail, our director, said the best thing to me. He said, Lack, that one chart, that's the only one that just doesn't sound like you. Whoa. And I'm like, cool.
Heard, Chef.
Heard, Chef. And then I think what happened was, there a couple things happened. Number one, I started stumbling upon some videos of Jasmine, Pippa, and Renee backstage having fun and harmonizing and singing like for their own enjoyment. And it occurred to us that like, wow, we don't have anything in this current Schuyler Sisters arrangement that is as fun as them singing
Taylor
backstage.
Swift and Madonna.
Exactly.
And all
They
that
would just
stuff
come up with
backstage.
these beautiful harmonies. Like, so you have to understand the ending that you all know and love is Schuyler Sisters with that a cappella. That did not exist off Broadway at all.
Yeah,
So-
we tailored that for them.
So that was one thing that we found. And then the second thing that made it for me was just kind of stumbling around and looking at sounds and samples and trying to figure out what the drums could be. And somewhere in the samples that Battery had, I found a sample that made me so happy, and it was like an old school Beastie Boys, like a horn thing that just made me so happy.
Yeah.
And I just like popped it in, and I'm like, I wonder if they'll dig this, because it just made me smile. And I sent a demo to you and to Tommy, and the first thing Tommy says is like, yo, I love that sample. Can you like drop that a couple more times? I'm like, hell yeah. So like I started just peppering in that sample all throughout, and I made the arrangement more syncopated.
Yeah.
I started to feature the girls more. It just like the song started to bubble and percolate in a way that just felt like was more up versus just a little bit more
Laid back.
and off Broadway. So I know that one just really like that arrangement had a total makeover between off Broadway
Yeah.
and on.
Guys, I'm not sure if this has been addressed, but I have to interject here, and out of curiosity, hopefully on behalf of the chat, how do we get from demo to there to what the end result is? Because most of us have heard what Lin's demos sound like, but then...
I'm sorry for that, by the way. I'm sorry that you've heard what most demos sound like. It won't happen again.
How long is that process, though? Is it 2 weeks, a week? Is it you immediately writing, sending it off to Lac? How does that work?
It varies, man. Like it depends how much time they have.
Each one's different, and you know, I think it's evolved too, because I think that with sort of the more like I'm someone who writes on programs. Like I have my keyboard connected to my with Bring It On, it was GarageBand.
Yeah.
With Hamilton. Actually, no, with Bring It On, I graduated to Logic.
Yes.
And then I wrote all of Hamilton using the Logic program.
Yep.
And Logic really freed me to do a lot more arranging than I did on Heights by a lot.
dude.
Like, you know, with Heights, it was a lot of Lac and Bill interpreting like really rough demos. And then with Hamilton, I was able and there's things that really got literally translated from the demo. My favorite is Wood Door Squeak 3, which is a sound effect in GarageBand and Logic, and it's this door that goes, and it's something I use to punctuate the downbeat in my Hamilton demo. It was just like done me on piano, bum ba da ba bum bum bum. And when we went to perform at the White House, I was like, I really like the sound of that, but I don't know how to do that live. And so Alex just played the tones that the door squeak makes, doo doo doom doom, and it's Door Squeak 3.
It is.
That's amazing.
And in the final arrangement of the show, we've snuck Door Squeak into the top of Obedient Servant.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So for the last Bastard Orphan, you actually hear the original sample that I was like inspired by.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's like a really funny example of like demo to to music.
Of course.
But each one is totally different.
It depends on how much time we have. Like, you know, case in point, like some of these demos existed as early as 2009, right? 2010.
Yeah. Which is why it sounds like I'm singing in a tin can on some of the demos. They were never meant for you, chat. They were meant for Lac. Get off my ass.
Was there a fast one that comes to mind? Like,
the end of the show. So what I was going to say, so if some demos were done in 2009, 2010, they didn't get orchestrated to 2015. But then there was the very, very end of the show, which Lin-Manuel did not finish until January 2nd. Wow. And we were going to open our first preview January 12th.
Jesus.
Oh, you're talking about the final monologue.
The final monologue.
Yeah.
No way.
Exactly,
I had two versions of Hamilton's final moments. I had a song called "In the Time It Takes the Bullet to Leave the Gun."
Right.
In the time it takes the bullet to leave the gun.
Yes. Forgot about that.
Exclusive.
Which was also
Yes.
dope. And if you heard that chat, you'd be like, why did you include it?
I forgot
But-
about that one.
And it was like sort of Hamilton's thought process getting faster and faster and the bullet coming closer, faster, faster.
Yep.
And I just couldn't get my head around it. And actually before that, I had 10 things, 1 things. I had Burr going, there are 10 things you need to know.
Right.
And then Hamilton saying there are 10 things you need to know. But the problem with that was I never want the audience to know what's coming. I think the number one thing you owe an audience is surprise. So if we'd gone through Burr's itemized list and then Hamilton's itemized list, around 4 of Hamilton's, you're going to start to like drift away and be like, shoot him already. So for the folks who are asking why that isn't in it, it's because I just didn't want you to get ahead of us. And then in the time it takes a bullet to leave the gun was just not quite it was really cool. It was really syncopated, but it wasn't getting the information across. And this is like early December. We still don't have a finale to our musical that is opening at the public in a month.
Crazy.
And Tommy Kail, who is like a really great inceptioner, goes, I'm not worried. I go, why aren't you worried? I'm shitting a brick. He goes, it's going to be it's like you're too busy learning choreography and learning the show. Like, it's going to be a New Year's baby. That's my hunch.
No way.
And I'm like, all right, I hope it's a New Year's baby. And like, you know, we go through our rehearsals.
And that was the first real break we had. We were
It was
off for
literally our first.
New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. It was actually days off from rehearsing.
Yeah. I have a newborn child at this point. He's not even 2 months old. And I wake up New Year's morning, 2015, and Sebastian is like, it's like you could still palm him back then. He was on my chest. My dog is sleeping between me and my wife, and it's like quiet for the first time in ages. And I remember going, oh, that's the one move we haven't used.
Yeah.
We have never been quiet the whole time. And so I take the baby, I put it on my wife, I take the dog, we walk, and I just write all the lyrics, all walking through Fort Tryon Park. Just walked all along Fort Tryon. When I came back around from the cloisters, I had the whole monologue. And then it's when Andy had a heart attack.
I know.
Because Andy was like, you've given me a finale with no music. What am I supposed to choreograph to? But it was an amazing day. And then Andy figured it out, and we have, like, the rest is literally history.
And what's magic about that is that piece could not have been written any sooner than that moment. Because I think it just took you just getting up to that point in the musical, you just being able to wrap your arms around the choreography, the staging, whatever, just to get to this point where like now something just like released for you to be able to like write it. It just couldn't have happened any sooner.
Let's check in with the chat because I have to leave, but they're going to keep talking. Boo, 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 boo. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Y'all moving fast. Chat. What's your most frequent quote out of Hamilton in your everyday lives? Asks Brooke Marie. Oh no, asks Gabby Pidge. Hamilton quote for your everyday.
Room where it happens.
Room where it happens.
Everyone,
Same
that's
one.
everyone's
Yep.
like thing.
Every time.
I say they don't have a plan, they just say mine. I say that all the time.
What rooms are you in, Alex?
I was watching the news.
There it is. Touche.
Well done. Derek?
Either room where it happens or enter me. Like when you walk in.
Enter me.
Enter me, he
yeah.
says in parentheses.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it. I don't know what mine is. I don't know. I don't even realize when I do it now.
You don't wake up with hammer worms?
I don't. I'm cured.
Wow.
I'm the one who had to get them all out of my system so that you could all share them.
Anybody else wake up with cousin suicide just all over your brain? Cousin suicide all over your brain.
No.
No.
Only the thing I'm working on.
No.
But yeah, not that one.
You had in New York, you could be a new man just for the last 2 days.
Oh, New York. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a nice one. Let's see. What were the songs that you guys were most proudest of? Asks Gimlet. 2 M's.
I often say I'm most proud of the orchestration for the end of the show, the very last few moments of it, for a couple of reasons. I had a good time like sneaking in themes like I Relied on Angelica, boo-doo-doo-doo-ding, and bringing in not only her theme but like a harp to play because that was her instrument.
Yeah.
Just when Eliza comes out, I put myself back on the narrative. I actually took the piano part of Burn and put it from minor to major, just like little Easter eggs throughout. It just felt like, again, as I mentioned, I couldn't have written it any sooner than the end. That was the last chart I did, the last thing I orchestrated. But I also just love that at the very end, just trying to figure out how to end the show. And much like you said, we hadn't tried silence. I was like, you know what? We hadn't tried unison. Everyone on one single note. Like, just what could that chord be with everybody singing?
Right.
And just to be able to just end on one single unison note, I'm like, that's it. That's how the show ends. So I remember kind of being really happy with that light bulb moment.
Wow.
Yeah. They're sending us into the other room.
Okay.
So let's go.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Vamos. Vamos a jugar.
Twitch, it's hard to understand, but even the bosses have bosses. And we're being sent into this room right now. This is where we recorded a lot of stuff. This is where we recorded the table for the thing. For the,
Okay, sure.
I'm John Lawrence in the place to be. What other questions do you have here? By the way, there's so many cameras here, chat. This is like, I thought it was going to be like a camera on top of a computer. But we are in a, where would you like us? Okay.
Oh, come on, Lack. Sit
I
at the
feel
piano.
comfortable here, so I'm sitting here.
Lack is going to sit where he figured out who he was in high school.
That's
In front of the piano. And now enjoy a bottle of red for the next 10 minutes. See you, chat. Well, the song I was going to say I'm proudest of is probably "Wait for It." In terms of tattoos alone, that's probably the song that resonates with people the most beyond the show. I've seen countless "Wait for It's." I am inimitable. I am an original. That's the one that people have put in their pocket and sort of, I think, hold very close to their hearts. And I'm very grateful to have provided that. I'm grateful I got the song in the first place, and I'm grateful it means so much to so many people. All right, I'm going to hand this off to Lack because I have to go. But thank you, chat. Thank you, Twitch. This was a very fun and very camera-heavy first experience on Twitch. The next time when it's just me on my phone on the A train, it's going to be very different. I love you,
Baba. Let's see some.
Enjoy talking all things Hamilton on the Twitch.
No. I did not bring my reading glasses, so I cannot see anything. So
Okay,
Tim
Riggs,
or
take
Derek,
over the
would you
chat.
mind?
Riggs,
You can't
get in
see
here.
chat.
Or Riggs or someone, just read.
I'm gonna need binoculars.
Okay,
to see
wow. Okay, wow, folks are just moving. Wow, here we go. Let's see. Bye, Lin Slim. From Has Monk. Love you, Lin. A lot of buys. Lack, man. One of the things that I think that we want to take full advantage of is, quite honestly, and this is, of course, to Tim and to Derek, I want to give you your flowers, man. And that's why, like, from an outsider's perspective,
Thank you.
just to be able to get from demo to, like, the end product, nothing less than stellar and fascinating.
man.
I think it'd be great if you could take us through a little bit of a medley of I don't know, it's like 40 songs. If you can give us 39, that'd be great.
Oh my God.
But
yeah.
no, please, like, where does your soul take you when you get on that piano and you just like, chat? In fact, we'll do that.
room
In
where
the
it happens,
meantime,
come on.
hey, chat, is there anything you want to hear, Lack? Cook
There
on?
it is. There it is.
Someone said Shook One's Part 2. No, not today, guys.
piano.
Not today. That was amazing. Someone asked Nonstop.
Oh, sure. Something like that. So it's been a while since I could play Hamilton, so I'm like, oh my God.
How was that experience for you? Like every single day again, I have to talk as the outside Broadway guy. I did not realize that you were in there every single night in the pit.
I had to take off quite a few shows. I mean, there's definitely some moments, I know you guys will remember, where we were just in a groove.
Yep. You just
And
have to keep
instead
going.
of being like, okay, I got to leave because it's 7 o'clock, I got to get to the show, I'm like, I had to call
Calling out.
Kurt,
Yep.
my associate, and be like, Kurt, can you do the show tonight? We're in a groove. We have to finish this record. So I feel like around that time, I probably took off maybe like half the amount of shows. But
But there were plenty of times you came back after.
did I really?
Yes.
Freak. Wow.
Because I was here from 6 a.m. to midnight, and you would be here, and then you would just reappear at 11:30.
Oh my God. And then we would
I
just
don't know
keep
how you
going,
did it.
man.
Yep.
But I gotta say, man, and Rig, this is like a testament to all the folks at Atlantic. One of the things I'm just really grateful for is that to amass the team to like call the Avengers to get these guys on board. Like that was such an important piece of the puzzle.
And also just knowing that you had our backs the whole time
Oh
as well.
man, it was so.
It was,
Yeah.
you know, we
From
didn't
start
have
to finish.
Start to finish, there was nothing to worry about. We was, you know, we never paused. We never had to slow down. There was no second guessing anything.
Yeah.
We just knew that you guys were there behind us.
Well, it's funny because the philosophy is right over rushed. Let's get this right. But we
Yeah.
really didn't have that much time to work with. Fun fact, we had a Grammy deadline.
Well,
to
that
get
was
in
the other
front of.
bookend. Oh, that's I was talking about earlier. That was the first bookend. Was I thought it was you had to, the show had to have opened before you could record the cast album.
It wasn't like it.
But
Yeah.
so that one we figured out. But the other bookend was submission for the Grammys had to be done, and I think we did it.
We
the day,
got just
that
in
day.
time. If I'm not mistaken, when did the album come out, Rick? September 25th?
Today.
25th, today. Wow, unbelievable. So I would say like we had to submit it for the Grammy. Like it had to have been released on September 25th to make the September 30th deadline or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
And because, as we mentioned, the show hadn't opened until August, the amount of time to, because you can't finish mastering the record on September 24th and release it September 25th.
But we did.
But
We were.
I guess so, because we released digitally first.
Well, there was one day, I guess there was, not a day, just listening to it for quality control here, and that was it. I mean, I think we finished mastering, and then it was pretty much.
Well, then maybe it was.
Yeah.
And what we haven't talked about, folks, is that actually the rooms that we're hanging in now is
was just
actually
gonna
where
say.
a lot of the mixing and then the editing happened. We tracked at what is now Power Station at Berkeley. Back then it was called Avatar. And it was a place that we all felt really comfortable in. And Derik engineered every single session, I would say.
Yeah, everyone at Power Station and everyone here, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And we did all the rhythm section in Studio A and started the strings down there for like maybe one session and then moved up to Studio C.
Yeah.
And did the strings and all the vocals in
Yeah.
Studio C.
And
Chat,
then
just to give you some perspective, mixing a record takes about a day or 2 or 3 depending on the feedback that you get. Please remind folks how many records we had to mix within this small amount of time.
46.
Only 46. Cool. That in itself is unconventional. What was that like? I'm sorry. Walk us through that.
Well, that was part of the pre-production meetings.
Yes.
We had everything going for us. Everything. The writing, arranging, musicianship, support of the label. The only thing we had going against us was the clock. So I looked at Alex, I'm like,
was
I said,
24 hours.
I'm like, dude, we have one problem. I was like, it's a math problem. Like, how on earth are we going to do this? I still have the Excel spreadsheet that you made for the tracking days.
Wow.
The tracking days were literally timed in like 10 to 15 minute blocks.
Yeah.
So traditionally what would happen is I would get everything to start mixing after everything is recorded.
Right.
But there was just no possible way that could happen. So we came up with this sort of method of working that we really weren't sure of, because we had never done it before. And your colleague Craig Rosen asked me, he's like, "Are you going to be able to do this?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you want the answer or do you want the honest answer?" He goes, "Well, give me the honest answer." I said, "I don't know."
Wow.
So what I did is I was at Avatar for the setup and
Yep.
the first day of recording, and I left with the hard drive
That's right.
of the rhythm section, and I started working
Day
without
one of rhythm section.
day one of the rhythm
Wow,
section.
that's right.
So I started mixing
With no vocals.
no vocals,
strings,
no
no vocals,
strings.
no nothing.
I had and I didn't know the music well enough. I had no idea what was coming.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost not mixing without a net, but I had to come up with a sort of a template.
Yeah.
That I would be able to sort of apply to all the songs as we went through, and that template sort of changed over the first week or so. But and then there were a couple of times where I would get all the vocals in, and I was just like, "Ooh, I got to I might start over." But it's like, wow, I really have to work this in there. And others just kind of fell into place. But it was a very unusual way of working. Like we had never done anything like that before.
What you just reminded me of, Tim, and I completely forgot about this. We had conversations about potentially having two mixers.
Two
on
mixers,
this
yeah,
album.
yeah.
Because I remember thinking, man, there's no way
how?
that this could
Yeah.
actually happen. And we talked about some names, and there was a storied person who could help us. But at the time, I remember they didn't work in the box. So trying to go back and forth with mixes was gonna.
And one of the ideas was possibly, okay, somebody mixes the rhythm section, the other person mixes the vocal section. I'm just like, well, that's
I know.
yeah,
but-
on paper maybe, but in reality, it's never going to happen.
But honestly, Tim, it was you having the courage to say, I could do this
I'll do it.
myself.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you've laid it out. I'm going to do
And
this.
only because of your support too, because I didn't know what was coming. I was like, Alex, are we going to make the deadline? He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we're going to
we
make it.
did.
I'm like, okay, are you sure? I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
we're going to make it. So
And I remember, like, well, so this is what I remember happening in the process. So as Tim mentioned, he would start kind of mixing right away. But once things were laid down, Derik and I were living in this
that
room
room.
here with Bill Sherman. And the three of us would just be editing vocals, editing vocals, editing vocals.
Band 2.
and
The
then
band too. And whenever we got something to a point that was ready to send to Tim, we'd send it to you. So we were just like, it was conveyor belt style.
It really
like,
was.
Tim would just keep going and just keep mixing. And I remember something that was really fun is that we decided to have a checkpoint early on in the process.
yes, it was like
So-
Crazy 8 was it called?
Oh, it was either the number Lucky Seven
Lucky
and
Seven,
the Crazy Eight.
or something like that.
I remember the concept was, okay, Tim, before you go too far down the rabbit hole, let's pick 7 tracks for
The
you to
biggest
mix
ones.
first,
Yeah.
the biggest ones.
Yep.
And if we can at least have a template, have a direction, and know what we want this record to sound like.
Because this record has never been made.
Exactly.
Hip hop records have been made, cast albums have been made. A hip hop cast album had never been made, so
yeah.
we really had to figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
just like, what is this supposed to sound like?
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys brought that up because unbeknownst to you guys, the reason why you probably enjoy this in addition to seeing the musical, is sonically, it just really, it's just never been done before, mixing both these genres into one, and we wanted to make sure that neither got ignored. Broadway has its own sonic aesthetic, and so does
Exactly.
hip hop. So that's why the drums hit a certain way. That's why we sat down and went through every single mix to make sure that the boom and the bap was really like firmly in there. So yeah, guys, like so when we hear comments like I listen to it in the car with my friends with my parents all the time. That's a rare comment because sorry, nobody likes to listen to what their parents are listening to. So
Very
to be
true.
able to get both those worlds is pretty amazing.
And now I have to give credit. Oh, please.
No, but you were saying like we had to like nail those 8 just to make sure that
Yes.
like, okay, go.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go.
And that first pile included My Shot. It probably included the opening number. It had to remember a song like Stay Alive, which
Yep.
was kind of varied. It's not just like one groove. But I have to give credit where credit's due because once we looked at those 7 songs, we all got together in that room
the
over
room,
there where we
yeah.
started. It was you, me, Lynn, Quest, Tariq.
Yep.
And I remember like the biggest comment that we got from Quest and Tariq was turn up the drums. We just need the drums to just be like more focused. And like the big note was like, tell Latham it's got to be boom bap. And like once that happened, it was all like,
Which
And
I'm
it
no
just-
stranger to because
yeah, exactly.
Of course.
by history. So that was
Yeah. But it was also like, man, you were just like the perfect cat to mix this record. Because like I cannot think of who else like the call could have gone to or would have gone to. Like again, the only reason we asked someone else is that it just didn't seem it was feasibly possible to do it all in 6 week time.
no,
You
it,
decided to do it.
it
was
still
great.
seems impossible right now.
Yeah, I know, just talking about it. But yeah, it's just like, the history that you have and just the records that you've been on and just your sensibility. And also, like, we all go back to In the Heights. Like,
We've
worked in the Heights
we've
together.
all worked together for
Exactly.
for
So
years before that.
Just
so.
made it easy.
Yeah.
The trust was there, and that just
Yep.
really helped.
A fun
So-
little. I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask how often it like I know that was in the Heights, but like how did you know to like that these were your guys when it came to like please give me some history on both you gentlemen and what you've done in the past that led you to where we're at now.
I wound up working with Alex and Lynn on In the Heights because of the producer on that was Andres Levine, who I worked with. We did a bunch of Latin records like Marisa Monte and Carlinhos Brown, all these really wonderful Latin records. And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing this record. It's a Latin Broadway album." I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Put me in."
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
let
how we
me,
met.
Let me give it a shot. And that's how we met. And I remember being so terrified the first day because I did them, the bulk of the mixes in my studio. I sat down with Alex. I'm sure you don't remember this.
I don't.
It was listening to the club.
Yes?
We listened to the whole thing intently, and we listened through the whole thing. Sounds great. Can we go to measure 64 on the upbeat of 3? There's a missing high conga. And I went, so I copied and pasted. I'm just like, oh,
Sounds like.
shit. Yeah. I'm like, I'm literally like these, alarm bells are going off in my head. I was like,
You thought I was going to get that detailed about every single thing.
No. How did you hear? How did you miss one high conga on a 6-minute song? I was like, oh my goodness. It was so awesome.
It's a good testament to the rest of the mix, though, if that's what.
Yeah.
But one thing we didn't talk about is that, again, this is why Heights benefited so much from your talent is that you had done Latin records, but also that you had worked on Erykah Badu records, you've worked on Tribe Called Quest records. It's like knowing that you had that intersection, that cross section, you were just like the perfect cat to do it. And Derik actually engineered, ran the Pro Tools rig for the In the Heights recording in 2008.
Yeah.
So we met there.
We met there, but I have Dolly Parton to thank for putting us together later in life. And
Wow.
we worked on her musical 9 to 5, but I spent we really got to know one another then.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then,
I'm really happy to see like you guys again getting your flowers because we don't get to this place sonically, musically without the effort and the contribution that you guys have like put into it. So man,
we appreciate
chat,
it.
please follow these folks whenever you can on their gram. Let's see what they have here. So there is a couple of questions here. Are there plans for Hamilton to be a movie like In the Heights? I cannot speak to that, but I'd be happy to audition. Cool. Cool. Let's see. We have some requests, Lac. We have some requests. There is let's see. We have a History Has Its Eyes on You coming from Kate the OK. Chat, clap, chat, clap, chat, clap, chat, clap. So guys, let's see what else we have here. We have Lac, you can play all day for me. Easy, easy. Let's see. Say no to this or burn. Can we get a burn?
Sure.
Like, you're going to be here for like 39
I was
hours,
going to
right?
say, it's kind of fun, like little jazz cocktail piano renditions.
Well, so we have an Hamilton instrumental available, but who wants to hear a Lac version? Strictly pianos, acoustic, wedding vibes.
Oh, you can pick any album you want,
Hold
too.
up a second. Time out, time out. Guess who just walked in the door? Kaboom!
Wait, what? That's my line.
What's up, Quest?
What's up, sir?
Good to see you, friend.
How you doing?
I'm
Great
great,
to see
man.
you.
What's up, Chatty?
How are you?
The incomparable Questlove has joined
How are
us.
you? How you doing?
Good to see you, man. Shall we go to the couch? We can like.
Yeah, come on, let's go to the couch real
Let's go to
quick.
the
We just
couch.
worked. Come on.
How you been?
I've been great.
Awesome.
This is exciting.
I'm gonna work my way this way this time. Boom.
Thank you very
Press the
much.
jacket hard, bro. What is that?
I make up fake tours.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Noted. Noted.
Did you tape today?
No, today I had off, but I've been editing. I'm doing Earth, Wind, and Fire. So
Heard of them.
yeah, I don't know if you're up and coming small band from Chicago.
All in all, it's the best record ever made, by the way.
A doc you doing on them?
My favorite.
Yeah, that's my next doc.
Oh, that's great, dude.
I've not been in here since
10 years ago.
Is that poor table still here that I
Yes.
used?
I was just about to
Right.
say when we
Yeah.
did that,
That was so
8-song listen,
Yeah.
you pointed out, you're like, where's Oak's
Right,
thing? He's like,
where's
you're
his-
like, I'll do it. So-
Get a table.
But even crazier, I believe that I credited the maker and the brand of that
Yes,
table.
you did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Okay, so Chad, this is what happened. In the moment in the show when I'm John Lawrence in the place to be before my shot, on stage they're banging on a table.
Right.
We did not bring a table to the recording studio when we laid down the vocals, and we were always like, well, what's going to happen? Like, who's going to play that table? And we were looking around at Ahmir, we're like,
I was waiting for the table because like
I think
that.
you know a drummer.
That's to me is the realest hip hop moment.
yeah.
And you know, like beating a lunch table
Yeah.
is how that's how Tariq and I started the Roots. So when he and I saw that together, like instantly we didn't have to look at each other. It was like, this is us back at Performing Arts back in Philly
How cool.
doing that. So when it wasn't there, I was like, you need it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think since then, Hamilton's brought a lot of business to that table. The maker.
That table's been given a plaque.
And I think initially he wasn't told the context of what it was. It wasn't like, hey, there's this thing called Hamilton, da 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 da, just out of nowhere suddenly, like people. So
Of
yeah,
course, you were very specific.
Yeah,
on
it
the
was-
type of table
We
you wanted
went
to bang
around
on.
the hall and we
no,
like went
we
table by
banged
table,
Sorry, man.
checking it
No,
out.
you were
banged-
dragging. That was Derek.
Like, what about
really?
this-
Oh, man, Tim,
What about the
he's
sound
out
of
of
it?
it.
That
Does this
sounded
sound a
great
little
to
more
me.
oak? No, we need more mahogany. It's like, like trying to find the right kind of sound for the table.
No, a very specific sound to it was
Crushed it.
needed. So
But you just happened to bring the hugest table in the office.
It was big.
Gonna drag it in.
I wish we could have documented. It was like if you remember the scene in Men in
We did.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the Men in Black scene where Will Smith has to like drag that thing
Yeah.
into this thing. And
But we
Yeah,
moved
yeah,
it into
there
that
you
Go
room.
up there.
Oh yeah, that's it. And we put a mic on the table.
I put a couple of mics. You had
couple of mics.
one up the top,
Yeah.
underneath.
And then there's one
That
of
table's
you
heavy.
actually playing it.
wow.
Oh, that's great.
That's a
Chat, can y'all
What
see
mic
these
did we
pics?
use? What mic did we use on it?
It looks like the 84s, a
KM84s?
67.
Woo!
Yeah, oh, yeah,
expensive.
hey, nothing but the best.
How many human beings did it take to move that table?
I
quite
think
a
there was
few.
like 4 of us.
We joked about that. Like it was
heavy.
more effort. At one point, I don't think we couldn't
we,
fit it.
we tried to bring mics to there, and then it just didn't work, so we ended up just drinking.
Dragging
And
it.
the level we had to angle it so that it could
Yeah,
fit
yeah,
inside the room.
There it is.
We recorded this?
I guess so. You were filming.
I did, sorry.
Nice,
I had to.
nice.
That's awesome.
I mean,
They said,
it's
hold
not
on, the
every
chat
day.
is saying, can we get Quest mic fixed? It's cracking.
Oh.
Ooh.
Can we fix this man's mic? There's a lot of gems
Is
being
the folks on
expressed
it?
here.
I love your host your host voice. Very breathy.
You weren't here in the beginning. It was bad. Chat, did you guys get to see the table? The infamous banging table. Yes, Libby Hearn.
I think it's.
Foxy Mo, Riggs is the chat angel.
There we go.
Thank you.
You are.
Appreciate you. I don't know what that means, but I'll take it.
No, you have a future in hosting.
I'm useless. Yes, that table was neat. Yes, Dr. Rock. So, Quest, early on we were talking about how just what musicals and hip hop.
How this project accidentally fell into my life. Do you guys even know the story? I've told you, like, maybe personally, but you realize that my version of the story is the most accidental tourist. If you're old enough to know Mr. Magoo reference, like I accidentally wound up here not knowing.
Please share with the chat.
Okay, so my version of the story is, we're at least 6 to 7 months in our new shoes at late night. So, to go from a life where we're living the Roots are living 250 days on the road, city to city, hotel to hotel, and now we're doing this thing called stability, where we're just in
What's that like?
in one right. But I mean, for the first year, it's odd, like to not have an itinerary, to not get up at 4 a.m. for a lobby call, all those things. And so we had, okay, so this is fresh off of John Ridley's Oscar win for 12 Years a Slave. And we get word that he wants to meet with us, the Roots, to talk about this Broadway project he has, right? So I will say that this is the one and maybe the last time where me being routinely late to things paid off in spades. So I get to this meeting 20 minutes late. So already Black Thought's there, my two managers are there, a couple people, like I'm in a room with 9 people discussing. John Ridley's like, you know, he's a whiteboard up and he's explaining everything. You know, I just sneak in the room and try to act like I've been there the whole time, like, oh yes, do this a lot. And so the meeting ends and Ridley hands a manila envelope to one of my managers. And I later found out there's, you know, tickets and paperwork inside. And so after the show, my manager's like, all right, so you and Tariq are going to go to the public play and here are your tickets. And I'm just like, what's this? He's like, I don't know, Hamilton. So you're going to see that. So I'm under the impression that whatever thing that John Ridley from 12 Years a Slave is cooking up is what I'm about to go see, right? So I get to the public theater and instantly, Hamilton grabs you in the first 3 minutes because already you're like, wait a minute, I know this audience don't know all these references to, like I'm already hearing 4 references that only hip hop heads know. And in front of me is Lauren Michaels. So I know he doesn't know what a Mobb Deep is. So 10 minutes go by, me and Tariq like slowly look at each other like, yo, it's like, they're talking to us. Like, we get it. They don't get it. We get this. So intermission comes, and someone comes and says, hey, after the show, do you want to come and meet, you know, Lin and everything? And I've learned already at 30 Rock the rules of improvisation, which is yes to everything. So I said, yeah, sure. So the play happens, and I'm totally mind blown. I'm thinking I'm never going to be more mind blown at a public performance that I have nothing to do with. Not to insert myself in it, but usually like I had to go to the sound guy, like turn the thing, like everything was pitch perfect. And I've never done this before at a Broadway show. You know, more like, you know, jazz hands, but never this. Never this.
Guys!
Man.
So when I get backstage,
Callback.
and you already know like how excitable Lin is with everything and all that stuff. Literally, you know, they're like, so, and I was like, it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And they were sort of like insinuating like, so you'll have us? And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, you know, we met this morning, so yeah, I'm down. Totally down. Absolutely down. Anything you want. So I go home and, you know, I have a lot of managers and I'm asleep and I hear the sound of, you know, when your phone's on vibrate,
Sure,
but you hear it in your dreams. And when your managers are calling you like 6 in the morning, like something's wrong. Like the last time I got this phone call, I was in trouble. And literally, they were like, did you agree to helm an entire project and da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And I was like, yeah, the play thing we were talking about yesterday, right? And they're like, wait, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, what are you talking? So it was like a whole who's on first thing. And then they were like, no, you idiot. John Ridley just wanted us to see Hamilton to get inspiration so you can work on his project. And I was like, wait, so what I saw last night had nothing to do with John Ridley? He says, no, dude, you were just there for research. And I was like, well, wait, they were talking to me like, did I get the email and did I want to work on this or whatever? I thought that was the project. So I said, yo, before you throw the baby out with the bathwater, I think y'all should see this because I think this is something. This is something. And later when then it was like, okay, you're right. But literally, the night of the Tonys, I thought about it. Now, the night of the Tonys, I declare that I spun the greatest DJ set ever in my life. Like I did this 6-hour set where I just
I can attest to that.
That was fun
so
times.
I got home, and right before, you know, it was like 6 a.m, and I get to sleep, and I wake up, and I was like, I'm looking for that email that Lin says he sent me. And I did this heavy search thing, and sure enough, it was like in the junk pile. And when I read what Lin wrote me, my first thought was, thank God I never saw this email. Wow. I would have never believed it. Because there's no way you're going to convince me that a hip-hop rendering of how our nation was formed and founded was ever going to work. Like, I saw what beating that the Tupac play went through and all that stuff, and I was like, no. So I read that email, and it was just like, this is the best accident I've ever gotten into in my life.
Wow.
So.
I remember when Alex was explaining it to me, we were working on Bring It On. He's like, you're not going to believe Lin's next thing. I'm just like, what is it? It's like, Hamilton. I'm like, Hamilton what? I'm like, Hamilton. I'm like, George Hamilton, like the guy with the tan?
Right.
He's like, no. Like,
11.
no, Alexander Hamilton. The guy who shot Burr. And he explains it to me, it's like, it's hip-hop, it's a period piece, but it's hip-hop, and it's Broadway. And I said, I don't mean this as an insult, but you know this sounds like a punchline. And he's like, but it's like, knowing Lin though, I can't wait for it.
The only way to, I experienced it in the most pure way because I had zero idea of what
I was in cold.
Yeah, so it's almost, and even once I got involved and the insane amount of tickets I purchased for people just to experience it. Yeah. Like, this is probably the only project that I've never. I'm world famous for my hyperbolic description of, yo, it's the greatest thing since. And I did nothing. I just basically this is the only thing I undersold just so that they could be happy with me in the end. So
Quest, about an hour and a half ago, I was walking the chat through the experience of being a hip-hop head and being told about this musical.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not a play. It's a musical. And it's something that we in the hip-hop space, it's a play, that's all we know. But there is a difference between a play and a musical. Yeah,
yes.
I did not know this. And my apologies for the 2 years of calling it a play.
Well, at no point do you guys break into dialogue. So, and at no point do you break into song either.
That part.
And so, yes, it's the purest musical ever.
And we just finished walking through, us as hip-hop heads and just being able to see this for the first time. You're expecting jazz hands. You're expecting all these. Actually, there are no expectations, but because the expectations from previous attempts just were not met. So, full today years old moment, I get the call from your manager, Sean. And that's where we were figuring out how to get you guys to go see the show, which was in motion. And he was like, hey, Sean, is everything cool? We're in. Well, what do you mean we're in? We're in. Whatever you want to do, let's just go. Let's do it. I'm like, okay, cool. And fast track it, here we are. And, man, Quest, I have to ask, man, just again, coming from the space that you occupy, walking into this space, what have been some of the bigger takeaways, some of the bigger, like from an experience standpoint? You've worked with D'Angelo, you've worked with L Boogie, sorry, Lauren Hill. You've worked with, obviously the Roots and just what were there some takeaways from here that really helped elevate your musicianship, the craftsmanship of making music?
Okay, so oftentimes, I know I ride that thin line between, I still say that it's 51%. I'm 51% fan and 49% not even artist. I'm kind of a suit that has artist overtones. Yeah. Because to me, the making of something is almost more. The making of something in the context of something to me is even more interesting than the actual experience, which is kind of the opposite of where I am now in terms of living in the present. and you know, now in this 2025 existence, living in the present is my thing. But previous to 2020, I'm a guy that's obsessed with history and the future. And so as a result, I will say that, you know, in some sort of Forrest Gump way, I have a keen sense of when I'm part of something historical. You know, all during the making of D'Angelo's Voodoo, I instantly knew this is something historical. And literally for the first 3 minutes of Hamilton, like, and I've been a part of workshops where, you know, they'll try to lure you in, like, okay, it's going to be like a hip hop rendering of da 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 da. I've been a part of at least 3 or 4 projects where it didn't get any further than a couple meetings or whatever, and I just kind of resigned to the fact that maybe by 2030, like when I'm 70, if hip hop that I know and love still exists, they might get it right. But in my mind, I just felt that Broadway was so stuck in this very tight tin pan alley, you know, Brill building, jazz hand, like this thing we can't escape. And I just never thought. Not only did I see a production that spoke to me, but it also managed to speak to non-hip hop heads too. And not in that, oh, it's so smart, like, because me being me, like, one of the biggest insults is always like, oh, you're so eloquent, you're so smart. And I used to get that a lot, like the first 5 years of Rootsdom, where journalists are like, wow, you can, you know, and that's not a compliment. You know, if you look like me, that's not a compliment. But for me, it was just so undeniably clever, but not in an annoying teacher's pet way where you hate the smart person in the room that always has to let you know they're the smartest person in the room. And the more that I saw it, like, for me, the greatest humble brag I'll ever have is, like, especially the prime of Hamilton fever, those first 3 years or whatever, you know, people are just like, wait, how many times did you see it? And I think maybe in the first 3 years I've seen it like 7 or 8 times, which is, you know, a lot, considering that, you know, tickets were, I could have easily, you know.
Yeah.
They're hard to come by.
Right. Tickets were hard to come by. And for me, though, it just the ripple effect of how it happened. Like, I knew instantly in those first 3 minutes, this is one of those moments. And, you know, even now, like, Hamilton's the thriller of, as much as I use thriller as an adjective to describe, you know, and not even just in terms of quantity, because thriller is often talked about in quantity. How many records it sold, how many awards it received, how many records it broke. But just, no one talks about, like, the paradigm shift of what thriller represents. And that's what this play is going to allow so many more voices to be heard, you know, that have been affected by it. So
surprisingly enough, right, when something is this popular, trendy, whatever you want to call it, you would think that there's replications and attempts at it. I don't know about you, Quest, but, like, I don't know that I'm getting, I have the next Hamilton for you. Is it because it is just one of one? Is it that complex to execute? Or is it just because there are no new ideas that warrant a rap flip of musicals? Please, walk me through it, because there should be more fake Hamiltons out there.
Well,
please.
Oh, go ahead.
So, something I often say is that if Lin-Manuel hadn't been born at the time that he was born, and if he had not been exposed to the things that he was exposed to throughout his life, Hamilton wouldn't exist. Because he just happened to be born, he was born in 1980, so he was a teen in the mid-90s, like the zenith of, like, great hip-hop, and that stuff just, like, infused his DNA, along with the records of Camelot, along with Sound of Music, along with you know, the Killers. You know, I've always loved that when you get Lin's iPod and you scroll through what's on it, it's like every genre imaginable is on it. So I think that what tended to happen in Broadway is a lot of times people would try to perhaps drop a rap in a score, but it didn't come from a place of them intrinsically knowing the style. And it always just felt like it was an attempt to replicate something that they didn't really know and understand. So because Lin lived through it and like admired and loved all the music that he loved, that he was able to synthesize it in a way that no one has been able to do it before or since. And I think he's an absolute genius. And we talked about the moment of hearing his music for the first time, which for me, funny enough, was the first time I heard a demo of In the Heights. I popped on a cassette, I heard a guy rapping over buckets, and I'm like, I had never heard someone like rap like this in a theater context ever.
Right.
And it's just a very special way that he hears words and rhythm and syncopation. So I think just the challenge is like trying to find people who just know the styles well enough to be able to write another Hamilton, to your point. Because I often tell people, truly, Hamilton, yes, the way that the story is told, I think, is groundbreaking, but the structure of it is actually very traditional. It is very, like, it's got an I Want song. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, there's a lot about it that really nods its head to, like, the structure of how Broadway shows happen. It's just the vocabulary hadn't been done before. He's speaking in a way that we haven't heard it before. So, until we get someone who's able to synthesize that music and in a way that that timeline is starting to shift a little bit. So it'll be hard to find that. I think.
I think also, to everyone's credit, Hamilton is probably one of the last major, I don't want to say the word risk because it sounds so dangerous. Hamilton is probably the perfect example of an act of faith. Like, we live in a time now, especially with me in these new shoes that I'm wearing as a storyteller, like the insane amount of rehashing familiar stories that we've, the sequel to this, and the redoing of this particular show, and the redoing of let's do a redo of it, and it's because we've been weaned and raised by a generation that thrives on safety more than anything. What's the sure shot? Absolutely no risk involved, and sometimes you just have to, pardon my French, you just gotta say fuck it, and really, and because Lin's conviction and his assuredness in himself and his craft, the fact that he's done the work in terms of studying the DNA of what makes great Broadway, and also like his level of hip hop is intricate. I'm not talking about like just the songs that will be played at the tunnel or the hip hop algorithm on your streaming. Like Lin to me is Fat Beats, 6th Avenue, Definitive Jux. He could have easily been in LP's squad. You know what I mean? That type of hip hop, and that to me is what I hope the takeaway. Now that, okay, we're in our 10s now, but when we get to our 20s, all of the 13-year-olds, the 11, the 12, the 13-year-olds that seen Hamilton, into 2015, that are, now approaching, like, he's going to Andrew Lloyd Webber in hopefully 20 creators that will spark seeds and grow. So that to me is like, if anything, we should take more artistic risks,
Going back to what I was saying earlier about the best worst case scenario ever was, best case scenario, we sell some records. Worst case scenario, it's going to influence a child or someone to try their version of Hamilton. Quest, I have to ask, as they fix your mic, is there any particular callback on the hip hop side that struck you when you first heard when you first heard Hamilton? Because there's so many references, but were any that you were like, oh?
Okay, of course, you know, it's one thing to, you know, we've heard Biggie references, we've heard Mobb Deep references, but to me, Big Pun references is that's a very specific hip hop hit, you know, because, you know, unfortunately, Big Pun was taken away from us right when he was just on the precipice of where we are now. Like, if anything, like, can you imagine what Big Pun would have done, especially now in the age of where, you know, Latin culture is now the mainstream? Yeah. Like, dude, you could totally see, like, he was so early, and so for that cosign, specifically that cosign to happen, like, that's when I knew, like, oh, okay, you're not just, you're walking the walk. Like, if you're a Big Pun fan, then that means you're like a hip hop head, you know. I mean, it's one thing to know, you know, anyone can pull from the mainstream, low hanging fruit of easy songs that everyone knows, but, you know, to me, just as far as the battles, like the
cabinet battles.
The cabinet battles.
Yeah, like, just there's so many inside references in there, and to talk to those heads after the fact, you know, because some of them will come on Fallon or whatever, and they'll be like, "Yo, dog, like, I ain't never seen a Broadway play before. Like, that was my first one." So, like, for that to be their first it speaks volumes as well. You know?
It's such a standard. I will say we should maybe cue up this little surprise thing that we have for the chat. Chat, if chat, are you there, chat? Chat. I want to go back and call back the Alan Alda conversation we had. So Daytwan Thompson went the same day that Alan Alda went. Alan Alda saw he heard 10 Dual Commandments and was losing his shit. He was just like, oh,
Alan Alda?
Alan Alda.
Why was Alan Alda even remotely?
Well, that was the audience that was coming to the public. So they were, you know, you had Tarantino, you had Mandy Patinkin,
But Alan Alda know 10 Crack Commandments?
No, he knew 10 Dual Commandments, so he was losing it. But he was sitting next to Daytwan,
right,
renowned hip hop music journalist.
Yes,
so so you know this is a Biggie song, right? And then they start getting into this whole conversation about the 10 Dual Commandments. And one of the things we were always curious about, what would happen if you can mesh both those worlds? Can you mesh, let's say, the 10 Crack Commandments to 10 Dual Commandments? What would that sound like? And we're going to give the chat a preview. Chat, are you around? Are the cameras on? Chat, no? Okay, cool, because, like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I don't know if we're legally able to do this.
I'll do it.
What did you say before? Fuck it.
Let's call this the Alan...
Press the space bar.
Take a risk.
The Alan Alda mix. Here is here's a rare version of the 10 Dual Commandments mixed with the 10 Crack Commandments by our boy J. Period.
Yes.
Nice.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 Dual Commandments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 Dual Commandments.
The challenge demands satisfaction. If they apologize, no need for further action.
Number 2.
If they don't, grab a friend, that's your second.
Your lieutenant, when there's reckoning to be reckoned.
Number 3.
Have your seconds meet face to face. Negotiate a peace.
Or negotiate a time and place.
This is commonplace, especially between recruits.
Most disputes die and no one shoots. Number 4.
If they don't reach a peace, that's alright. Time to get some pistols and the doctor on site.
You pay him in advance, you treat him with civility.
You have him turn around so he can have deniability.
Number 5.
Go before the sun is in the sky.
Pick a place to die where it's high and dry. Number 6.
Leave a note for
Nice.
your king. Tell him where you've been. Pray that hell or heaven lets you in.
7.
Confess your sins, ready for the moment of adrenaline. When you finally finally face your opponent. Your last chance to negotiate. Stand in your second, see if they can set the record straight.
Alexander.
Aaron Burr, sir.
Cool. There's lawyers on the chat.
Can I get that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to DJ that.
So yeah, man, believe it or not, y'all, chat, despite the success that this has had on the hip hop side, it is still one of those things where we still you still have to convince folks, because it's a lot of the thinking rap constituents are the ones that have gone to see it, but their impression of Hamilton is, of course, jazz hands and what have you. So a lot of these callbacks, a lot of these references, it's not until they actually sit down and watch it. One of the biggest compliments that we got was from Eminem. Eminem came by and he was just like, so let me get this straight. You guys don't stop. Like, no one stops. Like, yeah, no, there's no dialogue. Mind you, and Questlove speak to this, hip-hop rappers punch. They punch in. They don't just do one quick verse. It's just a lot of punching. And here you have a whole cast of folks dialoguing through rap. Again, so unprecedented. So unprecedented.
That's a question I had. Like, at what point, and I guess I should have, all these years of knowing you guys, I never asked this. At what point did you guys realize that we're never going to break into dialogue, into a speaking? Is there any dialogue that doesn't have music on it?
In our early versions, after Lin had already written maybe 12 songs or so,
right,
we actually had a workshop where we had a first act with dialogue break.
Wow.
And we'd sing a song, and then we'd have lines of dialogue, do another song, and have the lines of dialogue. And we worked with a playwright. And at the end of that, no disrespect to the playwright, he did great, but we just felt that anytime we weren't in music, the piece just felt earthbound in a way that it just felt more elevated when we were in song. And then at that moment, Lin decided, you're right, this can't be with regular dialogue. It all has to be sung through, like Les Mis, or like an opera or whatever. And that was the deciding factor. But we did actually try it, and it just didn't feel right. And so,
is there a completed draft of, like, a director's cut of Hamilton?
I bet you somewhere in my heart.
I would, to me, on the 20th anniversary, I want you guys with scripts in hand to just present the very Hamilton draft.
I know. But it was a bold move to be able to say, you know what, it's all just going to be music, like beginning to end. Because it's like 2.5 hours of straight music. First act's an hour and 10. Second act's an hour and 10. It's just straight through.
No, it doesn't. I had the pleasure of recently attending the 10-year anniversary show. It was my first time seeing it and hearing it with a different cast. And it was still as striking. In fact, to Lin's earlier point, like some classic rap albums, you go back and you hear things that you didn't hear before.
Oh yeah.
And I find that I go through that with Reasonable Doubt from Hov. That's an album that I continue to go back like, wow, he said that. This is, mind you, an album that came out 20 plus years ago. Any questions from the chat real quick while we have these folks here before we land this plane?
I had something that we could maybe show you. Have the thing. So
exclusive.
Well, actually, it's not exclusive because it was on Twitter a long time ago. So, do you remember somewhere along the mix process that we got so tired because we were probably on track 35 out of 46,
tagging each other? Wake up!
Oh my God! It was so tense and intense. But there was a night that we were able to blow off some steam, and we played some REO Speedwagon with you on drums. It was really funny.
Oh!
This is here in Atlantic. And that's Bill Sherman.
There's Bill.
We were just tired. We just needed to blow off some steam. And I just got on the piano and started playing a song that I love from my youth. Derik's filming. All of a sudden, Ahmir's like, wait, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening? We're like, oh, is he getting behind the drum set? Yes, he's getting behind the drum set. Totally unplanned.
It's like 9 o'clock at night, but it felt
And how timely is this in terms of what's his name just passing from Mario Speedwagon?
Oh yeah.
Ahmir, bring it in.
Getting the lighters out.
With the dime. But like the timing was perfect. Like, oh, it's time for the beat.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. Horrible camera person.
And I'm so happy to be playing with you.
Wow! I forgot about this.
Love the mallet on the hi-hat, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's a nice touch.
Like I'm not even using real sticks.
No.
Yeah.
Look how light the room is with instruments. It's like that's not
Right.
like.
I don't even know the irony of doing this song.
While we're mixing
That
Hamilton.
was amazing.
Yeah, for me, like this room also was like one of the albums that built my childhood. Is an album called Soul Searching by the Average White Band. And their inside sleeve cover with the record is just a collage of them recording that album in this very room.
How cool.
And, you know, I've since then met Steve Ferrone of the Average White Band. He gifted me the snare drum from that particular session.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I have his drum. I still use it to this day, and
I love it.
yeah. So for me, even to play drums in that room, that my idol created one of my favorite albums, and was even more mind blowing.
That's super cool.
Yes, Foxy Mo. That is the same. That's the same rug that you saw earlier on. Still there in the studio.
All right, yeah, I'm out.
Guys, we're about to lose Lack.
Chat, great to chat with you.
Thank you for everything, Lack.
Thank you,
Love
sir.
it, man.
Pleasure, man. Thank you for this record with us, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you, bro.
How we looking on time, folks?
You're my favorite. Likewise. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Lack,
My
real
chat.
quick, since we're about to wrap this up, I just want to share something
Hit
real
me.
quick. So, this is probably one of the most rewarding experiences for everyone in this room in some capacity. For all the resistance and all the skepticism that was met with this particular project and idea and execution, proud to say that this album, this cast album, is the biggest selling cast album in musical history. It has been sitting on the top 200 for 500 weeks now, currently sitting at number 30, 40 something. And it is most importantly an educational tool that continues to be played throughout. You can argue that more people have heard, at 60 billion streams, more people have heard the album than seen the musical. And we want to thank you for that. We want to thank everyone in this room for that. We are very blessed.
Shout out to Tom Coyne too.
Tom Coyne.
Shout out to Tom Coyne.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
So with that being said, I just wanted you to know that and get those files before you work your way to whatever fantastic thing you're about to go off and do.
We're so proud and so lucky because I know that it is not common for a Broadway cast album to have been listened to as much as this is. And it's still blowing my mind when I see kids who are 6 and 7, kids who weren't even born when the cast album came out. They know every word to this thing. That continues to blow my mind. So thank you all for listening.
You are appreciated.
I appreciate you all. I have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Cool. Well, guys, unless there's anything else, I think we're pretty much good to go here as we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Hamilton cast album. A lot of y'all call it the soundtrack. It's disrespect. It's the original
Talk
Broadway
your shit, Riggs.
cast
Talk your
recording.
shit. Yes.
In case you're wondering what that OCBR and all that means. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We love y'all. Quest, Tim, Derik, whole team here at Atlantic Studios. Been with us since day one. Thank you very much. And we will see you in the 20-year anniversary.
And
Yes.
thank you, Riggs.
Oh,
Exactly.
no,
Thank you, Atlantic.
I'm just here.
No,
I'm
no,
just
not-
here.
no.
Guys, thank you so much. Love. Shout out to Tommy Kale. Shout out to Bill Sherman, who, by the way, works
Unpaid bill. Some unpaid bill.
on the Questlove podcast, one of the most insightful, though, the Entume interview.
Yeah.
That's like pinned and gets revisited at least twice a year.
Thank
so,
you, bro.
Please keep supporting. Love y'all. And shout out to everyone. And bye. Jazz. Jackson.